Assalamualaikum and hi to Ms. Jamila. My name is Nufazila binti Arnel from SRT605B. In this video, I'm going to conduct how to use SRT605. So let's see the first question. So Iqmal want to identify any significant difference in mean of cholesterol level between group A and group B. As you can see in this table, this is a cholesterol level table. And then we see the solution of the question. First, we need to identify the independent variables. So we see that there are group A and a group B, and then dependent variables, which is the cholesterol level. So since we want to determine whether there is a statistically significant difference between the means in two unrelated groups, we need to use the independent sample, which is independent t-test. And before we run the independent t-test, we need to see the distribution of the data. So we will use the test normality, which using the Kolmogorov or Simnov and Shapiro-Wilk. And then we need to list the assumptions of the independent t-test. So first we have cholesterol level as a dependent variable must be a numerical data, and then a random sample, and the last one, two samples are independent of each other, which is a group A and group B are independent observation. So now I will start run the SPSS26. So open your SPSS26 and first you go to the variable view, and then in the first column you need to put name as a group and enter, and you see the type remain numeric and the decimal you can change to 0, and then the value, since the group have group A and group B, you need to write down the label, the value 1 as a group A, and then value 2 as a group B, and then add and OK. And then we see the measure change to nominals. Same goes to the cholesterol level. Okay, and then the decimal 1. The value is none, and just change the measure to scale. Okay. So now we're going to list all the data here. List all the data. Okay, so for the next step, we test the normality. So we go to analyze, and then we go to discrete statistic, and go to the exploit. Okay, after that, put the cholesterol in the dependent list and group at the factor list, and go to the statistic. Make sure the interval for me is 95%, and click for the outliers, and continue. Go to the plots and click for the histogram and normality plots with test, and then continue. And then after this, we click OK. So this is the test of normality. Since our sample is less than 50, we need to see at the table Shapiro-Wilk tables. So for group A, the value is 0.332, which is greater than 0.05, while group B is still same, 0.893, and still greater than 0.05. So this table shows that there is no significant, but at the same time the distribution is normal. We also can see on the histogram. You can double click the histogram. And then we go to this show this distribution curve to the normal. So you can see the curve in this histogram is normal. So as we see the data is normal, we can continue with the independent t-test. Before we run the independent t-test, first we need to state the hypothesis. So for the null hypothesis, there is no significance in mean of cholesterol level between group A and group B. For the alternative hypothesis, there is significance in mean of the cholesterol level between group A and group B. So we start running the independent t-test, go to the analyze, and then we choose the compare means. And since we use the independent sample t-test and click this one, cholesterols in the test variables and group in grouping variables. Then we go to the option. Make sure the confidence interval percentage is 25%. Okay. Then for the group, we need to define group. So group 1 as A as 1 and group 2 as 2. Continue. And then we click OK. Okay, we see the mean for the group A is 6.227 and group B is 5.533. So there's a bit different in the mean. And we can see that the group means are statistically significant in different because the value in the scientific tell is 0.077, that is less than 0.05. So the null hypothesis is rejected. Table 1 shows the difference in mean of cholesterol level between group A and group B. This is based on the APA formats. So we can see that the mean for group A is 6.27 and group B is 5.533 and the HD is 0.3901 and for group B is 0.6144. So as a conclusion, this study found that group A and group B is a significant in mean of cholesterol level. Group A mean is 6.27 and HD is 0.3901. Reported have significant higher than cholesterol level group B. So the mean for group B is 5.533, SD 0.6144, and the T is 18 plus 15.015, and the P value is less than 0.05. Okay, so now we proceed with the second question, question 2. Iskandar want to compare the change of scar of the burn patient before and after treatment. Measurements are taken 1 day before and 1 week after the treatment. So this is the data. The solution of the data is, as usually, we see the dependent variable, independent, observation, and distribution. So for the dependent variable is the scar of burn patient, and then the independent measurement before and after the treatment. And observation, we use dependent sample pair t-test. And before we run the pair t-test, we need to see the distribution data first. So we see the test normality using Kolmogorov, Smirnov, and Shapiro rate. So the assumption of this third case, the dependent variable must be numerical data, so the sub-Burns patient must be a numerical, random sample, and all observations are dependent, and last one is all observation difference before and after are normally distributed. After we put the variable data, the before treatment, after treatment, make sure the measure is the scale. After that, go to data view, key in all the data here. So after you finish key in data, we need to key in the variable, key in the difference. So we go to the transforms, commit variables, and then target variable is difference. This is for treatment, substance, after treatment, and then okay. So we can see the data of the difference here. Now I'm going to run the test normality. Go to the analyze, descriptive statistic, explore, and then we put the difference at the dependent list because we want to see the difference, and go to the statistic, make sure 95% for the interval for mean, outliers, continue, and the plot histogram and normality plots with text, continue, and then we click OK. So we can see the test of normality for this data. The significance is 0.133 is greater than 0.05. So the distribution normal, this is normal per test. The distribution is normal. So now we are going to run the pair t-test. Go to the analyze, and then we go to the compare means. We use the pair sample t-test, and then we put the variable 1 as before treatment and variable 2 as after treatment. And then see the option, make sure it's 95%, and you can click OK. So this is the result of the pair sample statistic. The mean for before treatment is 5.3750 and after treatment is 4.0500. So there's a difference between after and before for the means. And then based on the sample t-test, we can see the significance is 0.00 less than 0.05. So the null hypothesis is rejected. So table 2 shows the change in the average score of burns before and after the treatment. So the treatment after before, the mean 5.3750 for the after, and the ST 1.62735. And for before, the mean is 4.0500 and the ST is 1.46808. So we can see the conclusion here. There is change of scar area of the burn patient before and after treatment, and we can conclude that the treatment can reduce the mean scar area of the patient. So that's all from me. Thank you.